Okay, we are here. Win at the Horses, the weekend preview. We're recording this Friday, June 7th. I just came back from the Saratoga, Oklahoma training track. With me is my co-host, Bill Kelley, my dad, out in Vegas, getting ready for the summer racing. And how things going?
Going well.
Yeah,
Nice and warm here. We don't have to. We put away our winter clothes
that's
for the
but
next
you
year.
you do get snow occasionally, right?
Oh, by Easter Saturday snow. We
Right,
get
right, right,
flurries.
right. So your racetrack is in the comfort of your air conditioned home, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Uh,
So we've got more to talk about this week than we have in the past couple of weeks.
hmm.
We were talking off air about a bang up final weekend at Belmont on Saturday. He's got a great card, and then we'll touch on the stake race at Los Al, and then Horseshoe Indianapolis has a card full of stakes on Saturday. So
Hmm.
we're going to get into that first race over at Belmont, the first stakes race. It's the fifth race on Saturday. Belmont, a mile and a quarter. The Suburban Stakes, a grade 2 race. And this one looks fairly strong, no?
Yeah, well, all of them do. I mean, well, this race is only got five horses, and I mean the key is can you beat Charge It, who's what
Yeah.
3 to 5 on the morning line, and I think you can. I mean this horse, if you look at his record, uh, has been a disappointment the last four races,
Mm-hmm.
and I the horse that I thought was very interesting was Total Impact,
Okay.
the number one horse. And let me see if I can pull up my notes. Uh, I mean, in my picks, I put Charge It on top, but I would. I mean, if that horse is not over 2 to 1, I wouldn't.
Right.
I'd throw him out. Yeah. But Total Impact's got a shot not only to at a price, but I think has an opportunity to win, and it may get a price. I mean, I'm saying 5 to 1 or higher, but that may be a dream.
Yeah.
So the but it's got Jose up,
Mm-hmm.
Jose Ortiz, and as I say, I think Linda Rice has the champ, the meat trainer's title already locked up. But when
Right.
this race was drawn, it was still a question mark. And
Okay.
so I think she kept, you have to look at this and say, well, she's in this race to, saved this horse instead of going right up to Saratoga. She's uh, she wanted this horse in this race to help with her battle with Brown at the time,
Right.
Chad Brown. Uh, right now, it doesn't make any difference. And the horse, figure wise, pretty much is a little bit lighter than Charge It as far as speed figures go. But I mean, if this horse is what's the morning line?
You
Four to
you've got
one.
4 to 1 right now.
Yeah, I would think that 4 to 1 or higher. I'm saying 5 to 1 or higher, but uh, 4 to 1 or higher is. I would say that's a play.
Okay. So I've got a little counterpoint with the Irad Ortiz. Basically, I'm going for a price and hoping this one can steal one away. The horse I think's been running better as a 4-year-old than its
Hmm.
previous outings, 3-year-old. But I was almost going to go with your number one initially in my picks here, but I guess I'll wait and see with Unbridled Bomber and the number one, Tonal Impact, and see what kind of price we have if I'm going to get involved in it. But that was my thinking. Maybe steal one away.
Mm-hmm.
But
I,
yeah, should
I
be.
think it's the other horse.
Yeah,
So the three horses, the 1, the 4, and the 5 are, to me, the three horses you should be thinking of.
right.
But it's still a fight. You can't box an exact admission. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna win, but what are you gonna win?
yeah, and everybody's doing the same.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right.
There's just not. Uh, the only thing I think it's against Unbridled Bomber is that it's going to be in a pace duel with Charge It, because the two of them will be out on the front end,
Right.
and that's why Total Impact has a chance to come sitting off of those horses and make a run in the stretch. So that was the thinking, but believe me, it's not a great handicapping race anyway. This is not one of the better
Yeah.
races in the card.
Right. It's got some decent potential, but not a great betting race.
Not a better.
Yeah.
Not a better.
So we're gonna proceed into some races which might offer some nice prices for everybody. And the next race we're going to look at is the 8th race at Belmont Park on the inner turf, a mile and a quarter, the Belmont Oaks Grade 1 for 3-year-old fillies. And yeah, it's a nice and a lot of improving horses, and all the great trainers on the turf, Chad Brown and Graham Motion.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some European flavor to it as well.
Yeah. Well, my picks are European. I put the 11 is the horse that everybody's going to be on. Is it the 11, or am I in the wrong? I'm in the wrong race. Excuse me.
Okay. Race 8.
Race 8. Yeah. I'm thinking of another race coming up. I went with Esprit, I guess, is over, but the other brown horse, Prerequisite, may have a real advantage, because it could be like his last race, just get out of the lead and nobody's going to get him.
Mm-hmm.
The horse that was the favorite is Mission of Joy, who's a good horse, and for Graham Ocean. So this is a good race, and the other surprising horse I think is the 4. What is it?
Papaleo.
Yeah,
Papaleo. Yeah.
Which and your horse there is the 6. So the 1, the 4, the 6 and 7 are, I think, strong candidates in that race.
Right. Yeah, I went on the 6th, Be Your Best, with Horacio De Paz. He's been pretty hot in the last couple of weeks, and Luis Saez, can't go wrong with him. And obviously after the Breeders' Juvie turf maybe encountered some physical issues, took a long break. Well, not necessarily a long break, but took an extended break, and had a great race over at Belmont a few weeks ago, the Wonder Again.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting race, and looking at the, you always have to question when it gets to 10 furlongs that a lot of these horses, they really don't get exposed to that distance very often. Just let me see if I can just pull up And just looking at the breeding on some of this horse, um, would be helpful to look at the actual track and stuff. I
Right.
got Indiana up there, excuse me.
Okay.
I'm saying,
Just wing it. Just wing it.
Jeez. Uh, the four's got good breeding for that distance, and so does the five. The 4 and 5 both have good breeding. But there's, the 5 prerequisite is has a real pace advantage over the whole field. So he could conceivably wire the field like he did in his last race.
So I guess Irad gets first choice of the horses over Flavien Prat.
Yeah.
For Brown. Looks like it.
It's interesting because it was Pratt that rode the horse the last time.
Yeah, yeah.
So
won
what do you,
two races. Yeah.
Now, I mean, two thoughts here. I mean, Irad is his figures with Brown are. It's interesting. His figure, he's a 29% the two with Brown, right?
Okay.
Out of 205 races this year, he's won 29% with Brown. And the other figure I found was that now, Pratt with Brown is 142 races and 25%, so it's not chopped liver.
Right.
But grade 1 on the turf with Brown, Pratt is only 1 for 10.
Okay.
The two of them together. So, and maybe Brown has given the best horse to Irad because he's in a battle with his brother.
Yeah, could be. A lot of behind the scenes maneuvering with the agents and such.
The other horse that I found interesting was, and only because Joe Sharp's booked Jose Ortiz on his horse. Now, he doesn't figure from who he's faced and everything else, but he ran to a nose of, in his last race, 11 furlongs at Belmont. So the number 2 is an interesting long shot to keep in mind, only from the standpoint of the humans involved. Yeah.
Right. And at that 3-year-old can just spark an improvement out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The horse is, he's run 6 times and won twice, finished second once. So he's 50% in the money. You can't. Class-wise, he's got to improve. He's moving up from a allowance race into graded. This is a grade 1, right? Yeah, grade 1.
That's grade 1. Yeah,
that's a pretty big step. So
right.
But it's interesting that Jose, who rode the horse the last time, it comes back, and obviously he's looking to beat his brother. So maybe an exacta of the 2 Ortiz. I wonder, and I don't know how you would check this out. How many times the 2 brothers finish first and second?
Yeah, I've hit it a few times. I don't play it every race that they're involved in, but I have hit it in decent prices. Yeah.
Yeah, because Jose is usually on the longer price.
Right.
Horse, but and he's on this horse is 15-1. So you get. You're getting somewhat paid to, if he hits. So
So our viewers out there, that's your tip for the Ortiz brothers. Dig up the stats and see if it's worth getting into, but maybe this race, yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know. I was thinking about this. I don't know how you would check that.
I don't know. I mean, there must be some computer program, but or you just go through the past performances and go
Oh yeah.
real
Well,
slow.
I knew you'd go through it. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
no, I don't think
we
I'll
don't
do
have
that.
time for that. So hey, listen, Dad, we're gonna move along to Belmont race 10, another grade 1 for 3-year-olds. These are the boys for the Belmont Derby Invitational Stakes, and I think we have different. Yeah, we do. We have different selections involved in this, and I'm going to pull up what we have to offer. But another great race to get involved in. You think, right?
This is the race I was talking about before. The 2 euros. Silver Nut was in his last race. Where he was an odds-on favorite and got beat. My thinking on this, and I guarantee you right now that there's no way we're going to get 6-1 on this horse. So, and I think it's important to keep in mind that something that I have to remind myself every time I go into a card to bet, that it's not picking winners that I'm after. It's actually picking value bets that getting paid for your pick.
Yeah.
Appleby has not been hot. He's been very cold. Coming in here with horses that are getting bet off the board, as this horse. This horse was, 6-5, or no? He was
Silver Nut.
He was what 8-5 in his last race. Odds-on favorite and got beaten a length and a half, or a little over a length. And he's coming back not with Buick. I think Buick was on the last time, right?
Yeah, he's coming back
No,
with Mullen.
it wasn't.
Mullen was on the last time.
Yeah, Mullen.
Right.
And he's back, so Appleby's giving him another shot.
Right.
I just think the horse on the outside, the 11, is probably a shorter price. Is that
7-2 on the morning line.
Yeah, I didn't have his.
Weston Murphy and Andy Balding.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
and I think that that horse is going to be favored in the betting, but he comes from off the pace, and he's got a terrible outside gate.
Right.
And
I see two out of the 7. Well, 2 out of the 7 starts has had some trouble at the start, which is not good to have.
Yeah, and Euros don't start very well in the States anyway.
Yeah, right. So
I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's because they just. I know they must. As you said this off on air, that they must have to get a gate approval, so they must go down there. Maybe not open the gate and run, but they put them in so the gate crew gets used to them. But the gate must be different than in Europe. There are different types of gate. Plus, they run against a lot more horses.
Oh yeah.
So
20 plus sometimes.
Yeah. So that's a question mark. Of the what horse did you pick?
I'm stuck on my Louis Saez thread. Boppy, the number 2, looking for a price with Cassie, and this is a step up, but it's done well at Saratoga, so maybe I should wait on this one, but Yeah, I'm going to go with the number 2, Boppy O, and
Well, he
has
has.
improved. Yeah.
Yeah, he's won a grade 3
Mhm.
way back last year in August at Saratoga. This horse, when he shows up in Saratoga, is one you want to keep in mind, no matter what he does today.
Right.
These horses that have had a win at Saratoga are really bets, forgetting about their their current form at other tracks. Horses that win at Saratoga
Mhm.
are good bets
Right.
to come back. Uh, I don't see any I mean, major hiccup. The only question is he's never gone this far. He's bred to go, but again, I mean, he hasn't even run 9 furlongs.
So it's a bit of an
So
ask.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
this is where the Europeans have an advantage because most of them now, Silver Knot, my pick, has has run 9 furlongs, but other than that, he had uh, the the American horse. The interesting horse to me was Brown's horse in this race, uh, who's on the morning line at 8-1. He's coming off a maiden win, and he's put right into a grade 1. And he's got Pratt on him, and although the figure doesn't make it very optimistic with the 1 for 10 in graded ones with Brown, but it's interesting that Chad Brown would put this horse in a grade 1 off a maiden win
Yeah.
a little over a month ago. Now, it was a big win, but I mean, he wasn't running against these types of horses. But he's an interesting horse to play around with if he gets double-digit odds, because I think the horse, people are going to look at it and say, oh, he's got a maiden win. He doesn't match up with any of these horses. The American horse that is probably the biggest threat to the Europeans is the number 5, Farbridge, excuse me, for Pletcher,
Mhm.
who's got Jose on it. And the only thing about this horse is he doesn't seem to want to finish. He gets up there. He doesn't seem to want to pass horses.
Okay.
I mean, he's definitely a horse you want to put underneath. But he's got talent, and he's run. I mean, he lost by a length and in the grade 2, and he lost by nose in the grade 2. So he classes up well. So he's not going to be embarrassed. Um, and Jose is replacing Rosario, which is, to me right now Rosario's, sometimes he's really good and sometimes he's
He's a cursable jockey.
it's funny because he's got in his. I always thought when he was on the West Coast, when he had a horse that got on the front, he was tough to beat.
Mhm.
He rated well, but he's got in this habit of choking off a horse out of the gate and trying to come from way back. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories in that race. So good luck to everybody on that
A lot
particular
of
race.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is a good betting race. You can't
right.
so
So the
and
last stakes we're going to look at is Belmont's 11th race, the Victory Ride Stakes. We're on the dirt, 6.5 furlongs of grade 3, and 3-year-olds are in the spotlight once again. This is 3-year-old fillies, and
mhm.
let me pull up what we've got as far as our selections for this race. All right, here we go. There we go. You've got well, we're on the same pick for your value play. That's my play for the race.
Mm.
Tell us
This is
about Vava.
uh, well, this horse is coming off a slight layoff, which is a negative to some extent. Although it did win off a similar type of layoff last year to break his maiden,
Okay.
or her maiden. The and it's interesting that Saez goes with your pick, right? Saez is on Topsy.
Yeah. No.
No,
Jose Ortiz.
Jose. Who is Saez in this race?
Yeah, he's on the 8,
Oh,
red carpet ready.
uh-huh. The and I had questions as to why the because he had been on the 3 every race that the horses run, and
Right.
now he goes to the 8, who's coming off a little longer layoff. Uh, but he picks him. I mean, again, I I don't know how do you feel about these meat guys trying to, like, jockeys trying to win the meet with the 2 Ortiz brothers that are battling it out on this weekend. Plus the fact you have to remember now, both these jockeys have the same agent.
Yeah, that's right. I did hear about that.
So I mean, not only are they brothers, but they have the same agent. I mean,
Wow.
so you know, is this Saez making the determination to go to the 8, or is it the the agents of the Ortiz brothers saying, "Hey, get my guy on your horse"?
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was looking for a price in this. I mean, with Topsy, and there's and a lot of these horses are from the Midwest coming in for this stakes.
Well, my horse is you know, morning
Yeah.
line is 8-1. It's
Right.
not.
Yeah, the more I look at your horse, the more I'm kind of like thinking, did I did I make the right choice?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it, there's no question that, and this is probably a good exacta box. The 3, the uh, the 7, and the 8, and I'd probably throw the 5 in there too as an underneath play. So that's an exacta box of those 4 horses would probably pay. Who's the favorite? Oh, the 5 is the favorite.
Right.
Odds on. Who's on the 5? Is it Ira?
Speaking your favorite,
Oh,
Joel Rosario, and he's on the scenario which you just talked about, being on the lead with the horse.
yes. Now that was in the way. I mean, I mean, when he was at Golden Gate and Santa Anita, he seemed to ride. But all those 4 horses, the 3, the 5, the 7, and the 8, are really very close to each other in speed figures. So I
Right.
mean, then it would get down to is let me look and see what the pace figure. Uh, so you've got a lot of pace. The 2 is going to be very out on the lead. And Pratt is a sharp guy. So uh, the see, Maple Leaf Mel has won every race he's been in, but he's never been behind a horse. So if the two is quicker out of the gate, that could affect the. That's how looking at this, I realized that that's how I saw this. Uh, but there's a lot of speed. I mean, the 6 is going to be out there. So the 8 and 3 and the 1 are horses, and your horses. They're all mid-pack horses.
Mm-hmm.
So they could really benefit from a speed duel of the 2, 5, and 6. So it's an interesting race, and short odds. This is a race you don't want to take short odds on.
Right. And if Maple Leaf Mel wins the 5, then everybody's coming after you. They're coming after you. I'm just kidding.
Well, he's going to. I mean, they look. I mean, they look at the past performance. He's won every race. He's never been behind a horse, but he's never had to pass a horse either.
Yeah.
Anywhere. I mean, he's never been behind a horse. So.
Yeah, a lot of intriguing scenarios for this race.
Yeah. So.
All right, we're gonna proceed along right here, and the next race we just wrapped up Belmont. We're gonna move over to the feature stake over at Los Al on the West Coast, which is the race number 9, the Los Alamitos Derby, and small field, but
well, I mean, it's a great.
Oh, not a small field. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Is it a great? It's a great. Is it a great graded race?
You tell me. I don't have the past performances in front of me right now.
I'm trying to. Yeah, it's a grade 1.
Okay.
So this race, believe it or not, I mean, they've had some really top-notch horses win this race and go on to be significant, horses in the Breeders' Cup, etc. The horse that interests me is Skinner. Now, at the time, I didn't have the. I'm not even sure if the post position numbers were in. And let me see if that's still the case. Oh, okay, they're up now. So Skinner is in number 3. And if you recall, this is the horse that was all the talk for the Derby.
Right.
And came down with a temperature. This was a sheriff's from the beginning horse, not a transfer from Baffert, And this horse is the one that it finished with. Who was the horse that was it? Who won that race?
Yeah, I don't have the PPs in front of me right now.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
It was a 3. They had the Japanese horse was Mandarin Express, ran in the Derby.
Okay.
Finished a nose off of. Was it Verifying? Verifying was in that race.
Sounds possible. Yeah.
Hang on. There it is. Why? Okay. Okay. The the last race had, oh yeah, Practical Move was the horse that won the race by a nose over Mandarin Hero. And
Mhm.
Skinner made this big move on the outside and was a half length behind the other. He looked like he should have won the race, really, in my. But he was the talk of the Kentucky Derby. Then came down with a fever and was scratched, so he never ran in the Derby. This is his first race back, and he's been working lights out, which in California doesn't mean a lot.
Mhm.
They all work lights
Yeah, they
out.
all work. Pedal to the metal.
Yeah. So, but and Reincarnate is another horse that was well, he ran in the he needed binoculars to see the Mage win the race. He was 24 and a half rights
Right.
behind. He was one of the horses that were up with two fills on the pace with Verifying. They ran a 46 half in the
Right.
Derby and
Mhm.
1:10.4. I mean, it was ridiculous pace. And then he just he stopped like he was shot. But so these two horses, Reincarnate, the two, and the Skinner are the entry. I see you pick Yellow Brick.
Yeah,
Yellow Brick.
Yellow Brick. Um, I went with that just on a Mandela, bringing him along a little slower and slightly improving. So, and I was looking for something which may go under the radar, which I think Yellow Brick's going to go under the radar.
Well, I mean, the positives are that he's taking the blinkers off, which is
Right.
as these horses stretch out, it's usually is a better move than putting the blinkers on. Believe it or
Mhm.
not,
Right.
statistically. Um, but this horse is going from the turf to the dirt in his last race. Now he's a maiden, right? So he's a maiden going into a grade one. And we were
Mhm.
talking about going from a winning uh, in Belmont race where Brown is taking a maiden special weight to a grade one. Here, Mandela, and he's a great trainer. I have no. I'm, the, this horse is interesting because he's run 6 times. He's finished in the money 6 times, first, second, or third, or second and third, but he's never won. He's never He's never taken the picture. So, I mean, he's been close,
Right.
but no cigar. So I mean, he should be a good price. Hang on, let me pull up what my um, well, here it is. It's up. Okay. Just a second. This is
Okay.
taking a second to load. It must have just gone up on the site. Um, but in the meantime, I mean, this is a big ask to go from a non-winning maiden to be a maiden in a Grade One race and expect to beat two horses that at one time were considered possible players in Kentucky Derby. So we'll see. We'll see. They could be right. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I guarantee
And
you're going to get more than 6-1.
Yeah, so definitely an interesting race. A
Very
lot of lot
interesting.
of lot of good races on Saturday. Since we're a little pressed for time, I wanted to get to one of the races at Indiana Downs. So,
Sure.
it's the highlight race, the 12th race, Indiana Downs, the Grade 3 Indiana Derby. The theme is 3-year-olds on Saturday. This is a 3-year-old race. The Indiana Derby, probably horses which, well, a few verifying ran in the
Mm.
Derby and is favored in this race, I believe. How did you look into this race, the 12th race? Actually,
12th race.
my pick is your long shot play, Sherry DeVoe. But tell us how you saw the 12th race, the Indy Derby
I
at
forgot how I
Horseshoe.
saw it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well,
you've got
I got verifying on top. I mean, from
right.
a class standpoint, if this horse can't win this
Mhm.
race, uh, I would say he's just the problem with this horse is how much did the Kentucky Derby take out of this horse? Because as we were talking about reincarnate, this is the horse that was on the lead who ran a 110 4 for 3/4. I mean,
Right.
that would win a lot of 6 furlong races,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then expect them to go 10 furlongs from there. How much did that take out of that horse? And why was he doing? I mean, he's a he's a horse that obviously is on the, projects to be on the lead, but not necessarily. I mean, you got two horses there. The 1 and the 3 are going to actually quicker
Mhm.
than 5. Um, but I don't know. Verifying class wise just lays over the field. So I mean, and
I wouldn't touch him with a
I put
10-foot pole.
I put I put verifying on top with a, what did I say, 4-1
Yeah.
or
4-1. Yep.
higher.
Right.
Well, my chances of 4-1 when the horse is 8-5 on the morning line aren't good when he lays over the field. So that's
Right.
a meaningless pick. Who did I pick second?
The number 8. I did a quick look over the race. I like that number 8. If there's an upset, Sherry DeVoe,
Yeah.
Cagliostro, with some late pace
Mm-hmm.
figures, and you know, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on the horseshoe at Indy circuit myself.
I I wouldn't say I'm an expert on any track, really.
We're all
But
learning.
yeah, I did hear I was listening to some podcasts on before we came on here, and the one thing about the horseshoe, they say it's difficult to win
Mhm.
on the dirt from post 1, no matter what the distance is.
Oh, okay.
Uh, but I mean, as I said, there's a, believe it or not, there's a lot of speed in this race. The 1 is going to be gunning. Uh, Paul Lobo. I like the trainer. When I was in California, he's always particularly with South American horses. And he's the one. Remember, he retired for a while and then
Yeah.
just
Yep.
came back.
Right.
But so his horses, it's funny when you look at his record, his past performances. Um, he looks like a more of a turf horse than a dirt horse. But he's every other race he's on the lead.
Yeah.
and,
So
and
go
and
figure
both
that.
times And both times he led, he won.
Mhm.
So, but in any event, and then the 3 is another. That's whose horse is that? Ravelli.
Larry Ravelli, yeah.
Yeah. So that horse is is a decent horse. He's he's run 5 times, won 4, and has been on the lead. The only time he wasn't on the lead, he lost. So
Right.
he's going to be gunning.
He's had some horses training up at Saratoga. I've seen his saddle cloth. So
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's a good trainer. Yeah.
Right.
He's been, and I would, in any race he's in, I always take a second look at his horses. It's too bad he lost his Secretariat double. 2 fills.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So what's the update on 2 fills? The horse is going to be okay.
He's retired.
No, I mean, but they're going to be able to.
Oh yeah, he'll
be.
I mean, the feeling I got is, well, the history of horses having that injury and coming back and running, they've never been quite the same. So what they're saying is they made a stud deal, and that's why bother,
Right.
So he'll be producing horses next year. So
yeah, so he'll be having fun.
Yeah, and well, he may not know it, but but he'll be there'll be a lot of 2 fills in a couple of years.
Right. Hey, before we get going, I wanted to touch briefly on, I don't know if you saw the story, the NHC yesterday suspended 3 players. Didn't name their names from collusion. Apparently they had 5 entries between the 3 of them and colluded, and they were caught and 2-year ban a la Jonathan Kinchin. But any thoughts on something like that? Or
well, I mean, I'm mystified. What constitutes collusion? I mean, all those guys are in the room. They're all talking back and forth of what they're doing. But
right.
I mean, so I don't understand the rule.
Yeah, it was very vague as far as the press release. First, they didn't mention. A lot of the players are saying who was it, because they're curious and they want to know if they were playing against these people. Yeah.
I heard that it wasn't the NHC that caught this. Somebody reported.
Oh, okay.
And that's how it came down. Who those 3 people are, I don't know. I mean, it's at the end of the world. I think 2 fills hurting himself was a bigger story than this. But I don't understand the rule.
Yeah, I mean, something came up. I mean, there is a rule about the collusion, but you know, I think maybe a follow-up statement is going to happen.
But I mean, let's say I was thinking, let's say you and I are in the next one, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, what are we supposed to be on opposite sides of the room?
Yeah.
I mean,
and we can't handicap. We can't handicap the night before either together and throw ideas.
Is that right?
No, I'm saying that would be the extreme.
But I wouldn't, if we were sitting at the same table, as we probably would be, as I would be with anybody.
Right.
You're exchanging ideas. Maybe you don't, oh, you bet this horse, I bet that horse. But I don't know what constitutes collusion. Because I bet all 800 guys were colluding.
Yeah. You're gonna wipe out the whole tour.
Yeah. I don't understand the rule.
I was thinking, I mean, I don't know, something that would happen like, okay, let's say you have 2 entries yourself, one hits and then you're playing off of that. Maybe these guys said, okay, these are our entries, and the best one's gonna we'll split up the money, and this is our strategy. And maybe someone sitting next to him, obviously they probably heard the whole thing going on and reported it. And yeah, but that's all guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you're right. That's probably what happened, but I don't understand the rule. To me, it's that everybody there is colluding.
Yeah.
I watched the, the whole session on on live on the internet and watched, and they're interviewing people, and
Right.
I mean, horse racing is colluding.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean,
Who do you like? Who do you like?
Of course,
Right.
of course. I mean, I'm not. I don't know what constitutes that the to trigger a ban for 2 years.
Right.
For colluding.
Right. And poor Jonathan Kinchin, they blasted. His name was he got the same ban, but his name was all over. And these three guys or ladies or whatever.
Believe me, they're gonna. It'll come out.
Yeah.
And I just looking at the internet today. I mean, everybody's blasting the NAC for not naming. How can you come out with a statement like that and not name the people?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
We'll see. We'll have more to talk about maybe about that.
Well,
but
maybe it's like a trainer that gets suspended, but they can't because there's an appeal process. Maybe there's they can't illegally they can't do it, but
right.
But it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Right.
But who cares?
Yeah, it's just a conversation.
Did they win? Was it the winner?
Yeah, that would be a story. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah. So, Dad, hey, thanks for
Joe,
another great session of Win at the Horses. Yeah, sorry we had to rush through the horseshoe, but next week is the big opening for Saratoga. Maybe during the meet we'll do a live stream like this and handicap together while the races are going on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And what did you think of the Matthew? I forgot his last name.
Matt DeSantis from Trust the Prophets.
Oh yeah.
That sounds. That sounds like a good gig. Yeah, well,
of course, but
right.
It didn't really say whether he was totally leaving. I noticed he's got another podcast for this week on Belmont. I mean, is he gonna go away from Trust the Prophets? And if he does, I'm sure who the hell's gonna take that? I mean, he spent hours on that thing.
So that's his company. He built the company, I think, right?
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, but he does spend a lot of time. I mean,
I mean,
I don't.
The day of the which was it, the Kentucky Derby or probably the Kentucky Derby? He was on for the entire from the morning to it closed. I mean, he was. I mean, other guys joined in, but he was live on that thing for the entire show. And I mean, he could talk. I mean, he has no problem sharing his thoughts.
I think Naira may, I mean, for something like that, he's probably got to give his A material and time to Naira if it's a full-time job, I would think. But
I'm sure.
Right. But
yeah,
he's moving to New York.
Jonathan Kitchen is on, as you mentioned.
That's true. Yeah.
Podcast. So and he's
right.
With
So,
Naira.
Yeah. So maybe they're
cheater.
Yeah. I think it is. If he for the NAC when the ban is over, will he come back for it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was terrible.
Well, I'll have to ask him
to leave to go visit his girlfriend or where it was now his wife.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems a little. I mean, what is so bad at having a person sit in and put your picks in for you to steal your picks?
Right. Right.
I mean, I don't. I
You
mean,
just got to make it back with the flight for the round table or the final table.
yeah.
Yeah. And
But
hope
I
the
mean,
flight's.
I mean, some of those rules you have to question,
Yeah.
or why the need for it. You know?
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be some discussion on the fine tuning of the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, you're into contests.
What's that?
I said you are very good on contests.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I got the NHC. I got the berth already from, passed on from the year before. So, I have to study the rules so we don't break them.
Good.
Yeah.
I won't collude with you.
Yeah. No. Scout's honor. Yeah. So listen, next week we'll be deep into Saratoga talk and looking ahead to Del Mar, but this is going to be a great, great summer. So
it will. Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting. Yeah. I mean, the three-year-old crop is wide open. I mean,
right.
There are a lot of horses that didn't show up in the Triple Crown who are improving to the point that they're really could be major factors going forward. So
and well rested. So
yeah. And Archangel.
That's right. Yeah. Travers.
He worked at Saratoga the other day. So
already? Okay.
He's up there.
Right. All right. Starting Thursday, get there early. Run for your little table or whatever, the madhouse. But we'll be having lots of material, videos, interviews, and pictures from the site. We're just.
I saw that video. They showed a video of opening day last year, and everybody running for a picnic table. I'm saying, what is that?
That will not be me, because I if I'm in the backyard, it's like a lawn chair just cooling out, sitting there. I'm not running for a table for
no.
And plus, I'm moving around anyways from the paddock to the front of the track, it's good exercise. There's a lot of I practiced my at the Oklahoma. You got the free parking, and it's packed over there, but it's the length of the stretch at the training track. So I practiced my walk from my car to the actual track. So yeah, I'm in good form this year. Yeah. So
is it free parking all year?
Well, right now I have to park outside of me. There is at the Oklahoma training track. It's free for the whole. You could park closer and pay a little money, but yeah, it's free.
And how far a walk is that?
You gotta, if you're way out there in the track, it could take you 15 minutes to get to the track. I mean, it depends how fast you walk. I cut through the actual stable barns. No one stopped me so far, but I'm walking through the barns.
Why don't you work out a deal with a trainer and get a horse to ride over,
or get a golf cart? I'll have to talk to Gary Contessa.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, looking forward to more talk about that. So thanks, Dad, Bill Kelley and Joe Kelley. Win at the horses. Good luck, everybody. See you in the winner's circle.
Good luck.